Hi, welcome to my channel. Today's video, I don't believe in the law of attraction. I don't believe in the law of assumption anymore. So this comes from a viewer that watched one of my videos and made a comment like that. But it also comes from a conversation I had with a guy only yesterday based on this very topic, and I definitely manifested that conversation because I was thinking about this video, and then I started talking to a guy at work who I don't know that well, and I didn't have any idea that he knew what I did, but somebody had told him, so we started having this discussion, and he said pretty much exactly the same. Yeah, but I mean, I don't really believe in it. I did believe in it because a few things happened and I manifested these things, and then there was these couple of things that he tried to manifest a couple of years ago that hadn't happened, and he said the stuff that did manifest is really big, and the stuff that didn't is not even that significant. Like, I wanted it, but not as badly as the other stuff really, which did happen. So he said, so that doesn't make any sense. So I'm thinking that wasn't meant for me. He said, I think maybe there is an outside source that's saying that's not meant for you. And I said, but why? To me, that doesn't make sense. My answer was, that doesn't make sense because you would have had crappy things happen in your life. And are you saying that this outside source that's protecting you is going, you can have that, that's okay. I'm going to give you that crap, but this thing that you want, which is actually quite nice, I'm not going to let you have. That doesn't make any sense to me. And he said, yeah. So we talked about the things that hadn't happened. And I said to him, with this one particular thing, that sounds like something you'd have to make a lot of compromise if you got. Is that true? And he said, oh yeah, a ton. And he listed all of this stuff that he would have to do if he got this. And I said, okay, well, there's your issue. Because when we've got a lot of compromises going on, we can feel those. If we sit there, we can feel them. But mostly we ignore them and we leave them in the subconscious, just bobbing along on autopilot, doing their thing, showing to us in reality, because they are on autopilot, so they're running all of the time with no break in the program. So he said, well, what would I do about that? Because that's there. And I said, well, what would you want more? Like, what is stronger? Do you really, really want that? And he said, yeah, I really do. And I said, okay, so actually you're thinking about compromises. One thing I can say is try and look at those compromises differently, give them a new perspective. So you look at them from a new perspective. Maybe you look at them as somebody else would look at them and not how you're looking at them, but kind of talking yourself into the fact that actually these compromises aren't really that big a deal. And then you need to state it to yourself. This is what I've found that's worked for me. I really want this, and feel the real desire for it. Go, that other stuff is not important. And often the phrase that I've used for years now is not true. And I would probably have used that on that too. It's not true. So it's not factual. Don't manifest it. Don't just dissolve it away. It doesn't matter what you say, but you kind of need to set that clear instruction to your subconscious of what is more important, and then really feel the desire for that thing that it is that you want. Again, with this stuff, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying that I know everything. I don't. But it feels right to me. So everything I talk about here is what feels right to me, what the experiences that I have had with this, and what I believe, how I believe it works. But again, who knows whether I'm right or not? I can only go with my own experiences. So that he went, yeah, I get that, because the other things that he had manifested, the three big things that he manifested, he didn't have any compromise in there at all. He just really wanted those things. But again, when I've manifested really crazy big things, you don't have so much resistance because you partly really don't think it's going to happen. So you kind of wish for it and kind of leave it alone. And that's exactly what he did with those things. So that was the first point. And that was something that I think he'd never heard before, and he could really get on with it. So that does make sense. Okay, secondly, he said, so do you think we always get what we want if we're in the right mindset? And I said, well, kind of, yeah. But the right mindset is tricky to get into, isn't it? Sometimes, especially when a person is involved, because what we get is what we are, which was what I was trying to say to him. What we are is what we get. And that can be beliefs that we have in there, old assumptions that we don't even know are still there, thought patterns, those regular thought patterns that we have that are completely out of alignment with what it is that we want. All of that stuff is us. It makes us, so it makes the energetic form of us. So we see that. So you might want something and think you're doing everything right and feeling good when you're manifesting and do not understand. And then you get fed up and you do let go and nothing happens. And you think, well, this doesn't work because I let go and it should have happened. Well, what else is in there? You need to go deep and actually don't see this as a chore, because a lot of people say it should be easier. Why should it be easier? If this is science, if this is physics, quantum physics, then why should it be easier just because we want it to be easier? Why should it? It just is, it is what it is. But I think with me, the understanding of it, it's very difficult to intellectualize it. So I can, we know, don't we? We think we know what's going on and we can intellectualize that. But if we don't feel it, that's a whole different thing. So for me, I think over the years, probably the last couple of years, I've developed a deeper feeling of it rather than an intellectual understanding of it. I've had that for a long time, but now it's a feeling. So I think if you look at it differently, so don't look at it as a chore, but I want this and I can't get it and I'm really pissed off with this because I can't get what I want. Look at why you think you might not be getting what you want. What else is in there? Because there will be something, and deal with that and look at it like, I'm getting better at this. So the more I deal with these things, the better I'm going to get at it, and I'm going to get a deeper understanding. That's what I found. I kind of did it like, I want to get better at this. I want to get a better understanding. I'll never know what it is. I'll never fully understand it. But if I can make it work in the best way possible for me, and maybe there will be some things that I won't be able to change because I won't be in that right state and I won't be able to get in that right state. Maybe not if it's something really serious. Maybe I won't be able to get out of the feeling state I'm in. It's possible. But I'm giving myself the best chance by kind of studying this as a phenomenon, not just, I want this, how can I manifest that? Because that's fine. And if you're good at that, then that's fine. And you just manifest things one by one and you don't care about having a deeper understanding of it. But for me, I just want that understanding of myself. And what this has done for me over the years, and especially the last year, is shown me myself, if you know what I mean. And I've noticed things about myself. I thought, oh my God, I can see where that would hold me back that I'd never noticed before. And I can understand myself more now, why I've done the things I've done. And I've learned from things. When I was younger, I didn't learn from anything that I did. If I did something what I considered to be wrong or bad or, and I felt guilty about, I would just carry on making the same mistakes, doing the same thing, because thinking, oh, well, that's just me. But now I've learned from stuff, I'm just so different than I was. I can see where I went wrong. I can see the things I did, and I can accept responsibility for those things that I did that weren't in alignment with the best version of me, I suppose. But that's down to this. And sometimes it's hard because you can look at yourself very critically and think, God, but I've tried to do that in a way that was that old version of me. I'm different now. This is me. I'm not going to punish myself for what a previous version of me did if I've learnt from that. So it does allow you to really see yourself and get an understanding of why your life might be going in the way it's going. So obviously this conversation I had with him was very deep and it was great, because sometimes I can't be bothered to talk to people. Sometimes I'm in a chatty mood and I want to talk to people at work, and sometimes I don't. And I wasn't particularly in a chatty mood, but you know what, when I got into this conversation, it's fascinating for me to hear other people's takes on it as well. So what are you, and do you just want to manifest this thing, or do you want to have a deeper understanding of this so that when something doesn't change in your life that you want to change, you completely understand why, and you look and you deal with that. So you don't deal with the symptom, you deal with the root cause. And that's what we're doing here. We're dealing with the root cause. And when you deal with the root cause, the symptom is gone. So that is a very good way of describing it, actually. So let's just cover your focus. What is your focus? So you might think, my focus is this. I'm focused on the outcome that I want. I feel good when I do it, but I still haven't manifested it. Your focus, the way I look at focus is it's what you're on most of the time, not a half an hour of the day where you're manifesting something. That's not your focus. Your focus is all the rest of the time when you're maybe feeling like you don't have it and you're getting frustrated. That's your focus. So that's what you get shown to you, because it's very strong, that, and it's on and on and on. Again, it's a constant program. So whilst you put a break in it while you're thinking about what you want, underlying when you're doing that, you're probably still feeling like you haven't got it. Even though you are feeling good, there's this underlying program running that says, but you don't have this. If you feel like you're constantly wanting something, constantly desiring something, then you are in the state of not having it. It's okay to have that. I want it, I desire it, but then mostly you want to be not in that state of mind. You want to be just getting on with life. That's the best way to do it. Just think, well, my life is what it is now. I have to do this. I have to live it. So let's just get on and live it in a wishful thinking kind of way, in a hopeful way that this could happen. But if you've got a lot of contradictory stuff in there, you have to look at that and deal with that first. Again, dealing with the root cause, not the symptom. And the symptom I'm calling, you're not getting this change that you want. That's the symptom. But the root cause of that is all that stuff that's going on inside of you that is making up the energetic version of you. You're in superposition, so anything is possible. You can take a new perspective on absolutely anything. So again, let's go back to the initial thing. I don't believe in the law of attraction. I don't believe in the law of assumption anymore. I don't think I do. It doesn't seem to work. We don't get what we want. We just do not get what we want. We get what's in the deeper layers there. We get what's on autopilot. We get those assumptions, beliefs. And do you know what? The best way to start changing that is to change your self-talk, and to notice when your self-talk is negative. Notice when your self-talk is backing up the 3D reality that you can see that you don't want. Because that, you're just holding yourself there by doing that. So it's noticing it, but seeing it all as a bit of a game, as in, I'm learning a new skill here. Oh, I'm doing that now. How can I change that? What can I say what can I say to replace that? Or can I just stop saying that? Even just stop saying the negative stuff is probably the better thing, if you're not even trying to force something else in there. But it depends how you look at this. If you start looking at it as, I'm learning a new skill, okay, it's a bit of a game, today is day one, then you don't get so kind of uptight about telling a story that isn't actually real at the moment, that you can't see. It's not that it isn't real, it's just that you can't see it in your 3D at the moment. It's just looking at it differently and thinking it's just energy. I'm manipulating energy, and I can't manipulate it and change it by having the same thoughts that I've been having day in, day out, and then expecting something to change. You just can't do it, because you're holding yourself in the vibration, so in the frequency of the 3D reality that you're in right now, where you don't have what you want, because you're thinking about it and you're thinking this doesn't work. If it had worked, it would have happened by now. Why didn't it happen when I let go? Just because you let go and it didn't happen then, it doesn't mean it won't happen in the future. It doesn't mean that's done. I let go and it didn't happen, so obviously that's never going to happen. No, that's not true at all. Just look at, really the thing to look at is your thought patterns, really. They are the most significant, because you imagine how many thoughts you have in a day, and if a lot of those are based around this not being in your life, or you not being able to do this, then you're just holding yourself there. But also that underlying feeling that you may have, when you really think about it, just sit there and think, what is my underlying feeling on this subject? And it's probably that you don't have it, the lack of it, but it can be very, very slight, a bit like a splinter, or just a very sort of underlying bubbling, just a very subtle feeling, but you can detect it and you know it's there. That's what you need to look at. And then to do that, you can have a word with yourself, whatever you think this is. I mean, I tend to address my subconscious a lot, and just say, oh God, if it's God to you, God, please help me diminish this feeling. Please help me dissolve this feeling. Anything like that, but just addressing it is the first step. Sometimes you might hear just affirm and affirm and affirm, and at some point that's going to happen, because you will impress that on your subconscious. And that is true for some people, but it is not true for everyone, because I've spoken to people that have done this that have affirmed for years and never got what they've wanted, because they're always doing it from a place of lack. So they're doing it from the place of not having and trying to force it into reality, and you can't do it from that way. And I've got nothing against affirmations whatsoever, and I do use them, and recently I've used them to get a couple of things for somebody else actually, and it has happened. But I've been in a very relaxed state, and I haven't been sort of thinking about it that much. And so I think what happens with an affirmation, if you're not doing it from a place of lack and you're doing it from a place of possibly having, like, I could possibly have this, so you're doing it from a neutral state, it focuses your mind. So it focuses on those words, and those words have an energy and they have a frequency, but it's not over focused. It's not mixed with a feeling of you don't have it. So it sort of guides you to the energy that you want. So then you do end up manifesting. So again, nothing against affirmations whatsoever. They just don't work for everyone. They never worked for me back in the day. I would have never used them to get something. And the couple of times recently I've done it, I was very aware that this was very possible that this could happen anyway. So I was in a good state of mind about it. And if it hadn't happened, wouldn't have been the end of the world, so, and it worked, but on both occasions it was for somebody else. So I wanted to experience them telling me that they had this thing, and then I did. So this guy did say to me yesterday, but surely it should be easier than this. And I do hear that a lot. And I go, but why should it be? Why should it be easier than this? The laws of physics haven't been designed for us as human beings to have everything easy. They just are what they are. There's not, should be easy, should not. I mean, I know some people, like you read about people, don't you, that just have manifested these amazing lives and great relationships and businesses, and they're multimillionaires and stuff, but they are people that are in a certain mindset, and they're able to stay there. So they're able to, it's a different kind of mindset. And I think the majority of people find that tough to get into that mindset. So yeah, it is possible to have everything, but you have to be in the mindset where you completely appreciate that you deserve everything, you're worthy of everything. Why wouldn't you be able to have everything? Everything is possible, and understand this law and not be pushing, just be taking action for action's sake and kind of thinking, if I do this, this will probably happen. But I'm feeling very optimistic about that and maybe excited about it, and be in that state the most of the time. Whatever this is, it is what it is. It just is what it is. And it does what it does. So trying to manipulate reality on the outside just doesn't work, because it isn't about what's on the outside, it's about what's on the inside. You have to manipulate what's on the inside and try and have some fun doing it and not get too stressed out about it and think, well, do I sort of believe in this? Yeah, I do. So how awesome is that I could possibly get the things that I want? I could possibly change things that I don't like. So I might as well try and get as good at this as I possibly can, get a better understanding of it, and know that it is what's in here, not what's out there. Because out there isn't really out there. Out there is in here. It's all just one, in my opinion, one thing, really. The 3D is a reflection of your subconscious mind. Going back to the one thing that I didn't manifest, I can only say that I get it now. I didn't get it then, but I get it now. I totally get why it didn't happen. Because I had no idea that other stuff was so powerful, because I thought, well, I'm ignoring it, so it doesn't matter. I knew about manifesting this, so I was trying to manifest it as well. So I was in the trying state, which didn't help. But again, when I'd let go, yeah, logically you would think it would happen, but I didn't know the power of all of those compromises I'd have to make, and all of those things I didn't really want to do, all of those things I wouldn't have liked about this situation was just there, running on autopilot. And that was what I got. I didn't get what I wanted or what I thought I wanted. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I mean, because this video could go on, and I hope that I didn't waffle too much. I tried to do it once and I had to do it again because I really was waffling. I tried to keep it as concise as possible, but that's my take on it. Just my take, one person's take, and you will see other people with different opinions. This is not about force. This is a natural thing. It's natural. It's how you are naturally, not how you are forcing yourself to be. That, it's been my experience, does not work. The more natural it feels, the more likely it is to happen. So look at that. Does it feel natural? No, it doesn't. Okay, how can I help it to feel more natural? Change my perspective on, of what is going on. How can I look at that differently? How can I tell a different story? How can I look at my thought patterns and change those? Do I need to change them? Can I just stop saying what I'm saying to myself? What can I do to help myself? That's the key here. And let's put myself in the best possible position, knowing what I know, and then, hope for the best. Don't plan for the worst, just hope for the best. Okay, thanks so much for watching. I'm an author, mindset coach, manifesting coach.